And welcome back for part 4 of Invasion of the Philippines. That empty tank over at the Western Harbor is really tempting, really calling out to me at the moment. I don't think I'm going to get many targets now, so I think I'll just bail out and grab that. As difficult as it is to capture this flag, because of so many defenders who always seem to spawn in, it's always nice to have a tank to be able to do the capture with. At least you're protected from everything except for landmines and bazookas. And out of nowhere there's some Japanese supporters coming in. I really like the situation we're in now at the Western Island. The Americans are trapped in the landing beach flag. Now it's kind of tricky to get over there. I'm going to take the longer way around just in case they've got people coming in through the valley. When you get in through this area, you can really see the detail of Invasion of the Philippines map and how cool it looks. I never played Battlefield Vietnam, but I suspect it was probably something similar to this. Maybe they were kind of inspired by this map before they made that game. Very tricky to get the tanks around without running into trees and bushes that stop tanks. Very sturdy bushes. As I was saying earlier, it's just so difficult for the Japanese to capture every single American flag all at once. It always seems like you're putting out fires and rushing from one island to the next, and as soon as you've cleared out one island, the Americans will pop up in another one. Now I could have gone over to the landing beach, kind of pointless. We've already got it, and I would be vulnerable to the cannon fire from the now American-controlled airfield. This is the other way to get from the landing beach over to the Western Harbor. You always have to be careful here not to accidentally slide into the water, which is very easy. And that water is just devastating to the tank. I mean, we were just here only a couple minutes ago, I think. We had taken this flag, and then just all of a sudden it goes American again. Possibly there were American defenders who had just spawned in and hid themselves, or maybe they were manning some stationary weapons further along and just came back. But you can really see why the tanks are not that big of a deal on this map. It's only essentially the only place you'll ever see them used is either defending or attacking this flag right here. And the airplanes really haven't been showing much of themselves, haven't really been useful. Of course, one of them is a torpedo plane, so it can only go after the boats, and really only after the Japanese destroyer. Alright, I think I will make use of that tank now. By the time he swims over here, I should be in the tank. Yep. Okay, now I think that was the last of them. So I'm gonna head out with the patrol boat. The Americans are now down to one flag. But of course, it's just as I was saying that, they pop up at the eastern island. Amazing. I'd wait for that guy, except for the fact that he's got another patrol boat he can take, and you really don't want anyone else in your patrol boat, because they're going to occupy the machine gunner position, and that's really the weapon you're going to need to be able to use. So unless you're really doing teamwork and you know and trust the person who's the passenger, and you're willing to let them get all the machine gunner kills, you shouldn't let anyone else in your boat. This is really like deja vu here, and we've still got so many tickets left to go, this being on part 4. This is the last map in my original run-through of these maps, and we're really going out with a bang here, I guess. This is one epic fight. My instinct normally would be to rush that flag, but since I don't have my medic class as I normally do, I'm going to have to kind of stay back a bit. And of course, whenever you get the opportunity, it's always fun to eliminate death gun cannons with your X-Packs. I was just far enough away from that guy to win that firefight. Got a bit of the reload bug. When you pick up a dead person's kit, sometimes it'll have you reload the gun twice. And just like that, we captured these 2 islands here, but then they popped up back again on the western island once again. U.S. Marine Base. Yeah, that's the name of the flag that no one ever goes to. So if you really need to get a flag, you should either fly or have a boat go over there. It's almost always going to be completely empty. I see an empty landing craft icon. That actually could be one of ours, but I'm going to head over toward the patrol boat anyway. Yep, there's a hostile. I'm sure that was a pretty disappointing end to his little expedition over here. Now I'm going to show you the eastern island. You can attack that from a couple of different angles, really. It looks pretty high up and difficult to get over to, but there are a number of different places where you can just climb up, and all you need is just one. I probably should have gone around to the other side, seeing as how that cannon's active to my right, but it's a little too late now. I'm kind of committed. That was a friendly plane just now shooting at me. He was probably just looking around, starved for targets, starved for any kind of boats. That cannon's not active because there's no name tag highlighted over there. Here's the flak gun, very frequently used in the early stages of the round. Now that guy almost won that firefight by making good use of that little box. It's always nice to get some kind of cover if you can get your gun just above it so you're not obstructed from firing, but they can't hit your legs or anything and take off extra hit points. As you can see, I'm really paranoid about people spawning in there. And once again, now the Americans have popped up over on the airfield. But we seem to have a pretty decent lead now in tickets. We've got almost double their number of tickets. And since we're the side which, in theory at least, has the uncapturable base, although really both sides are under very little threat of being completely capped out or being forced back onto the destroyer in the case of the Japanese. So really it's a matter of skill and kill-to-death ratio. And even it's not even that big a deal which flags you hold necessarily, because the tanks aren't a big deal, so you don't really need to get the flags with the tanks. And the airfield's not that big a deal either, because the planes aren't of much use either, unless you're trying to destroy the Japanese destroyer. The angle of attack I'm making on the airfield is, I mean, it's one you can use, but it very rarely ends up well. Everyone seems to be spawning over here, so maybe I'll get a couple kills before I get killed myself. way too many people over here. And as I have to stay on the move, I can't really neutralize the flag either. Stay tuned for part 5.